Hello everyone and welcome back to Cities Skylines, the 1 hour a day build in our town, city, large settlement and traffic network of Lifstrom. I am your host and insane Mayor Zerberus. If you've been watching the last few days, then you know that, or the last few episodes I should rather say, then you know that we did some building unlocks, and as a result of those building unlocks, we wound up with like 100k population or something like that, and we've basically finally hit a point where we can almost consider the city completely recovered. I mean, we've basically filled in most of what was already filled in before, it just hasn't all necessarily leveled up. We've still got some work to do, but yeah, we should manage. And yesterday we also tossed in this new highway, which we're probably going to use to connect up our farming industry somehow, some way. We're going to take a quick look when everything starts running. First off, I'll crack open a beer, and let's get to it. Cheers! So basically, we now finally have a real foundation, so to speak. We have something that we can actually slowly start to build our huge mega city off of, because if you look at this is already 100,000 people. We easily have 5 times that much build space on this map. I mean, this map is just basically one huge, flat, mega build space. And I think this area around here, where this highway is actually already going through, that's actually eventually going to be our midtown, so to speak, where we have all the super high rises and the really high monuments and probably more stuff off of the Steam Workshop than will be healthy. Yeah, but I mean, as dumb as it sounds, we still have quite a while to go before anything happens in here other than traffic and us maybe eventually also getting rid of this. I don't know. Maybe we'll wind up leaving that in and completely repurposing it, but because it kind of looks cool, but it's not really going to do us much good. And welcome back, Ben Lead. Good morning. Sorry if I eventually shafted you out of watching the stream yesterday. I actually even did 2 episodes. I thought I'd start an hour earlier and just do 2 episodes. And I completely forgot that the clocks got switched, and so I was basically done with the second episode probably half an hour or so before you came online. Sorry, man, was not intentional. So yeah, exactly. Let's get back to it. Set it running. We did put in some traffic fixes for just like some areas that were just chronically a problem. Like, for example, this used to always get really, really gummy, and it was all from traffic that was basically coming from here and from down here, and so we just put in this little highway access road, hid it under the whole city, and then blah. I think you guys probably saw that. I mean, that was probably actually a few days ago, but yeah, we're slowly getting back to where we used to be. This isn't filled in yet. This isn't completely filled in yet. We're getting complaints about not having enough workers. What's the story here in this residential? That's already almostly filled up already. Quick check, how loud is that new market, that old market street? That is way too loud to want to put residential next to it. This is already actually almost too close. We may wind up zoning this as of these 2 residential areas specifically, and giving them organic and local produce, and maybe just throwing organic and local in here just as a sound buffer. Yeah, no problem, man. As you know, these are going up on YouTube anyway, so yeah, if you miss something, there's always YouTube. Why did I pause it, actually? That was kind of pointless, because again, we are still hoping to eventually get back to like 120k. Those commercial zones were loud in general, right? It's just definitely not necessarily... Oh, well, that's actually... Oh, because that's organic. Why is that organic and local produce? Well, then that's awesome. That just gives us some free residential space back in here. No, not that one. That one can stay. No, you gotta go too. So, how big is that district? Oh, that's actually the whole thing? Ah, well then, ha 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 ha. We'll do this completely differently. If we grab the right tool, we might actually get it done today-ish. If that's all organic and local produce anyway, that means, one, that at some point in time we may have actually been intelligent. Or I might have actually been intelligent and just thought that out ahead of time without really giving much thought to what I was doing. Because I think all of this, yeah, it's all high-rise limited. So yeah, we'll coat that. We'll leave that as commercial. Yeah, and that should work just fine then. And then exactly we'll go in and just take the very, very edge squares here. Well, the very edge squares obviously are going to take all the zoning behind them, but you know what I mean. And just also convert them to commercial. And that'll give them a little bit more room to expand commercial, but more importantly, it'll give us a sound buffer, a noise buffer. And in fact, we'll actually knock this out as well. Give them an incentive to move. Well, not giving them much incentive to move if we're just rezoning the same thing back in there, are we? But then we also almost certainly will wind up needing a park in here somewhere. If nothing else, like a doggy park. Something small, let's see. Parks. There. Yeah, they're hurting. They're hurting over here. So if nothing else, we'll want like tea gardens in here or something. Tea garden over there, maybe a doggy park on the other side. Somewhere where nothing's zoned yet, or where it doesn't matter. I mean, obviously not every place can be perfect, but parks in residential areas are generally never a bad idea. In fact, we'll toss another small one in here. We'll actually use the tea garden, I think. Yeah, radius for the tea garden should be enough if we just hit the worst spot, so to speak. I mean, again, it can't be perfect everywhere, but it can be reasonably good in most places. That should overall do fine, I think. No, where's the doggy park? That's the one we wanted. Just put that right in there. And I think they should, for the most part, be somewhat happy to move in there now. Yeah, so let's see if we can't get 120k back. You can turn off anarchy before we forget. And while we're waiting, we can maybe think of how we want to lay out the farm. Because fertile land was basically, yeah, just about everything where there's no trees. In fact, we'll actually go in with a brush. A large brush. Well, that's a little bit too big. Let's get that out of the way. And just de-treeify some a little bit in here.
Carve up with yakisoba, the noodle masters. No matter what stage of life you're in.
Now we'll draw in fertile land just to make sure.
From birthday noodles to wedding noodles, all the way to those
Just nice and green.
Every occasion has a noodle at yakisoba, so experience something different. Yakisoba. It literally means
Farm on a hill. So, what they're going to want, they're also going to want some way to hook up to this.
You can't stop to savor every moment, but if you're not careful, the days will slip past before you even realize. Gather yourself in this moment and let the feeling be sweet.
Can we just like run that through there? Not too sure. I'm thinking if we might want to run a rail line. A rail line, thank you. Like from here? The idea being to go from here, then up through here. Either over or under the highway here, doesn't really matter. Basically, go underground probably like right here at this point. And see if we can't like come out somewhere up here-ish. Oh yeah, and we could then mirror that line, so that's actually maybe not such a bad idea. Just not necessarily an idea for right now. Also, we're still waiting on a bit of stabilization, but I think everything's coming in more or less fine. We'll wait until we get our first demands, and then we'll know. Because we're getting some residential and industrial demand, but those are exactly what we already have enough of. Well, enough space for, at least. Because that's still all zoned up there and it's not filled in. And this is zoned and it's not filled in. Actually, residential. That's actually a good thing to point out that we're still missing. One, a large part of our coastline. Like back in here. Bring the water line back up. Actually, I kind of like that. Let's see just how far the water goes. Don't think it's going to come up far enough. That was that spot that we wanted to have, that little tip coming out. Is this just taking longer to flow in than I expect, or what exactly is going on? Because we don't want to be causing like tsunamis and stuff like that if we don't have to. But we may end up causing a tsunami or so. Yeah, no problem. Or you can also watch the highlights on Twitch, of course. Take care of yourself and have a great day, man. It's still up too high, ain't it? I think it's just because everything's so low, it's just taking forever. You know what? We will actually, whoops, raise this up just a hair after all. I'm really good at pushing the wrong button today, aren't I? Maybe not necessarily there, but maybe here. And now that's not high enough anymore. Is that what you're trying to tell me? I think we will want to have some houses like out here on the actual beach, especially since we do have this much room. This will basically be, that would be like a large low density residential community. At least that's the idea. Use the right brush in the right way and you get the right effect. I think that does go a little bit too far though. I think that's more or less the way we're gonna want that to look. Yeah, but that's too blocky. It looks artificial. Ah. I keep zooming out so far, I keep seeing this, and then that immediately makes me think something else is going on. We'll leave it like that. I think that'll fill in. You know what, we'll call this back just a hair. That's a little bit too far over there. There, that's what we wanted. Just bring the water level up a little bit, and the water line up a little bit closer here. Like we can even go just a little bit closer with that. There, I should bring that in more reasonably. That's, of course, kind of pointless right here. Just in the way, and that's it. I like the way you can see some of the underground structure, even with the water over it. Yeah, no, all of a sudden the water's flowing in there again. Wasn't there much more commercial down in here? I thought we had like the entire waterfront filled originally, or was that just up in here? That may have only been up in here. Okay. We'll live. We're at 117,000. Excellent. We're 15 minutes in and we're almost completely recovered. So I think that looks much better now. Yeah. And up here, the forestry industry, that we'll think about how to connect it when we get that far. Although this highway, maybe running up here, might actually be the ticket. In fact, you know what? We'll extend that right now. Ding. There. That's what we're looking for. Obviously, we don't want the upgrade. We want the curved road. It would snap to about here-ish, right? Yeah, here it snaps. In fact, I think from here on we'll actually want a bridge. Very specifically want a bridge. And we don't want to go up that high, of course. No, it's absolute. Oh.
If you want the best, you've got to go big. That's why our cameras are the biggest on the market. Our shutters, our lenses, the longest. Cameras aren't paperweights.
Yeah, so a lot of this has to go down a little bit.
In fact, the most valuable camera is the one that you're afraid to take outside. Vault-Tec, only the best. I'm famous chef Tony McGoney, owner of Tony
So we'll
McGoney
just.
Steakhouse. And when people ask me where I get my award-winning meat from, it's from one place, Meaty Bits. No matter what you need, be it a smoked pig, goat by sunset, or a 10-foot alligator in a salty brine, Meaty Bits will get it to you fast with a smile and completely without judgment. So, if it's good enough for Tony McGoney's Steakhouse, why not be good enough for Joe Public's home house? Yeah. Get in touch with Meaty Bits and tell them Tony sent you. Meaty Bits. If it ever was alive, they can get it to you dead.
Yeah, it looks okay. That little rise in one spot isn't too great, but Yeah, it looks about right. With the exception of this node. No. Now, the more they go that way, the more they're just going to diverge. So. That's not what we wanted to do. We wanted to come over here a little bit. Oh, again, this is just, could have kept it running the whole time since we're not really doing anything up in here. And then we may actually just connect here and here. And then we'll probably even go with this one straight up here and also connect up here somewhere. So slowly but surely the layout of our main city is also starting to crystallize itself out. 117,000, we have commercial demand. So contrary to what may have originally been expected, this area back here is actually going to be commercial. If I can find the right brush. Because that's just also directly hooked up to the industry already. And I think we originally had a little commercial zone back in here. Let's put that back. Commercial over here is doing fine. For a second there I thought it wasn't. And there goes the chat. That means it's 1/4 or something like that. So, miss anything? Nope. Good. Oh, that's right. We actually put industry in there, didn't we? Yeah, that's right. We zoned that as industry just for the extra space. So we really should be doing fine for the most part. Not on this side. Just toss some more offices in here on this side for good measure. Kind of like keep the administration close to the actual work being done. And 17,940. We're getting residential demand even. You know what? We could actually maybe... That's not really gonna help, no. Leave the zoning the way it was. That's just gonna cause a loss, but we could zone some more in here. That actually will work. Other than that, yeah, space is something we don't have much of. You know what? We'll add another little commercial industrial road in here. Screw it, we'll go up to there. No, we won't. Seriously? Then I'll just redraw the whole road. That's the way the game wants to play this. And I think all of this will actually wind up being commercial. The final little chunk of industry in here. Or maybe we could even make this into a park. Might even be a better idea. But in that case, if we're going to turn it into a park, then we definitely want to have, of course, the nicer roads on it. So now we're once again getting some residential demand. I think we're just going to complete filling in this chunk here. And that we will definitely leave for a open for a large park. In fact, we'll throw that in right now. the only one we want, though. That's not gonna fit. That one will, though. The small playground will fit over here. A doggy park will fit over here. And we can just connect those up a little bit and add some more trees. Oh, that's why, because we have prop and tree anarchy. So I screwed up, but we can still fix this. Now, what we want to do, since we now have anarchy off, we want to exactly just lightly move the paths that the trees are encroaching on. That will move any trees that are actually encroaching. Oh yeah, that looks reasonably nice.
We just want to focus on making great meals every night at the old grain mill. Old-fashioned family restaurant at the old grain mill from our family to yours.
Now we can of course let everything run again. So fire is not a medical's not a problem. Fire shouldn't be a problem, but it actually is. So we'll just give them their own fire and probably police right back in here. Education is always a problem. I don't think they're going to need a high school though, are they? Yeah, of course they are. Put that over there. What's the story on coroners? No coroner coverage either. So we'll put that in here. Yeah, child and elder care they should be sorted for though. Whoa, that just almost before I even got drawing it in, finished drawing it in, they started moving in just instantly. And of course we also want to apply our high-rise ban here to this new section of this district that already exists. In fact, what we'll do, we'll pause it quick, expand that district. Which should have a high-rise ban, right? Right? Horton Heights does not have a high-rise ban. Let's change that. So now they should be sorted as well. And that's about as much space as we're going to get out of this general area. Back there is really actually slightly impractical too, because that's just basically far away from everything, but I think it'll still work. If nothing else, we can throw out some more industry over here. And replace that with, you know what, we'll do that. That's exactly what we'll do. We'll just go in and knock out the organic and local produce sections in here. And replace them with more residential. Give us a little bit more living space over here where we actually need it. Over here there's not much left we can do, because we also need that commercial as a buffer over there. So as far as living space goes, yeah, without building a new district, which obviously we have more than enough room to do, we're basically maxed out right now. So the question is, do we want to start expanding over here? I think we do, and over here we're going to want to use those cul-de-sac roads as well. What is... Oh, this is another one of those one-lane wannabe roundabout dealies or what? Oh, God. I really wish I knew what Al was smoking when he put those in. Because this is basically, I mean, this is, if you look at also just how large this is actually almost its own town. We're getting abandonment. Why are we getting abandonment? Not enough workers. Okay, that's something we're still working on. Getting our population back. We may even expand like some residential out over in here even. Or is there any place we can just like put some in where nobody would be bothered anyway? This is obviously not a good idea for... Well, if we turn these into offices, we actually could make this into a residential area. And you know what? I like that idea. This in here will actually be its own little residential district nestled between two industrial areas. Well, you know what? Those can actually stay, because those are still way more than far enough away from the actual... from what's going to actually be residential. Yeah, I think that's actually going to work out really well. But we then also need to turn these into offices just to make sure. And I think once these are in... Do we have a district in there yet? At all? No, we don't. So we'll make this its own district. Means we could actually apply a heavy traffic ban if we absolutely wanted to, but I don't think we do. Yet. We might eventually. But right now this is really just about having a little bit of living space closer to the industry. Kind of like the old school version of an industry barracks without the industry DLC. Well, obviously, medical is going to be an issue in here. You know what? We'll put that over there. Fire actually shouldn't be an issue in police, and they aren't. Education obviously will be. Probably a major issue. Well, it's not actually too bad. We can get just about everybody served with that. And the same with the high school. So we'll actually leave those and just let that run. That's actually something I didn't expect to wind up putting residential in here, but it's actually really not a bad idea. I mean, they're looking for workers. What better place to get workers than a house like literally right over here? Like this guy. So, but policies, le ban de high-rise. In fact, we can just put a citywide policy of a high-rise ban now that I think about it. At this point. That may or may not cause some people to move out. Yeah, there was apparently a missing high-rise ban over here. Yeah, but once this fills in, they shouldn't really have too much of a problem for workers anymore. Population 12. Okay, that's obviously going to have to go up a little bit. The population of 12 isn't going to get us very far. But I think that right in the middle of there, that should really help with the not enough workers issues of those two industrial areas. And long term, we may even kill this industrial area and turn it into a residential. In fact, that's not a bad idea. Just basically force them to move over here a little bit. Because that much space, and they have more than that much space still available. I don't know if this is necessarily a good idea, but it's the idea we're going to go with. Because it will, of course, slightly increase the transfer distance that they have for goods into the commercial zone over here. So this may actually be a huge mistake. I don't think it will be, but there's always that chance. And we do want offices on this side. Otherwise the noise is just going to be too much. Once again, wrong button. Oh, we can't make this this residential. Because we have a waste facility in there. Ah. Didn't even think of that. So we just basically stole some space from our industry for no reason. Really sorry about that, but look at it this way, you get some nice sexy new office buildings. Good news is nobody actually moved in that short period of time. We're getting some cross traffic here that could have numerous reasons, primarily probably people moving in and or out. So yeah, we'll set that back to what it was. Hope it doesn't screw us after all. Over here we seem to be doing fine. We just need to get more people into our industry. That's really where our big problem is right now. When that's really zoned really close to each other. Not necessarily close enough to cause a problem because I think that's commercial anyway. Yeah, so that's not a problem, but almost could have been. In fact, no, we'll leave that as commercial, and because of because we already have industry here, so even if we were to remove these two, it'd just be too close. Be kind of pointless. But we're not actually getting any official demands, but we do have 37 industrial businesses that don't have enough. This is actually not enough workers anymore. This is actually not enough buyers, so that would generally mean that we need more commercial zones next. And that's actually something we can offer because we do have some space here still that we haven't turned into anything and that will most likely end up being commercial anyway. In fact, we will turn it into commercial right now. If the problem is really buyers for products, we'll just give them a few more buyers. Oh, we're up to 119 already. We're slowly getting close to the 125 or something that we once had. So we can definitely say the city is recovering. That's nice. Let's let a cinematic camera run for a little bit. Just see if we can't find anything that looks obviously wrong or look at all those people walking over. I think that's what we just, actually what we just put in, yeah. What's this, a showroom for boats? That's probably just edge of the map where he's getting off. But it's not really jittering, is it? Let's see. Oh my god. I'm only getting 28 FPS. That's interesting. Maybe it really is slowly but surely becoming time for a new graphics card, because that's definitely not a RAM issue. It might be a CPU issue, but it's highly unlikely as strong as the Ryzen 3600 is. I was just wondering because it seemed to be jittering a little bit. That said, we may have it limited in some way. Because I don't think I've ever seen this game run at more than 30 FPS now that I think about it. I think I have VSync on or something like that.
the mornings with Jimmy and the Stallion. The only morning show featuring DJ Jimmy Fries and a 4-year-old quarter horse named Clover. This is Jimmy Fries.
Traffic light? Okay. So that's something to look at in some of the industry areas again.
They'll play your favorite hits, give out great prizes, and laugh their way through your commute.
They're actually using the parking space.
On Cities Radio.
Not in huge amounts, but they're using it. So I think overall this really is working just fine. Oh, that's a nice perspective.
Vegetation of the time. Their mere existence transformed the landscape and made a lasting impact on our world. It's that legacy that Dino Oil is
So yeah, this is all...
using their
Are we following that black camper or what were we following there? Get a feeling here we're following a guy on a bike. Yep, that guy in the middle on the bike. Again, we're following a guy on a bike. And we don't even have much in the way of bicycling paths, but they're allowed to bike on sidewalks. So, but that's also something that long term we definitely want to put more in bicycling paths. In fact, Biffa's actually using a set of custom bicycling roads with bicycling paths on them that are actually separated. Really legitimately separated from traffic, and I think I'm definitely going to take a look into those long term. Since that's only one rail, I'm going to say that's our cargo line. This is the roundabout at the entrance to our oil industry. And I just noticed they can switch lanes coming right off the roundabout. That might not be ideal, but I don't think it's really causing a problem either. Yeah, so overall this is all just running fine. Just taking a little bit longer than we'd like to fully recover from the brink of annihilation. The unemployment, whatever you want to call it. In fact, that's something we might want to look into in these last few minutes. There was a roundabout that had tips. Where was that? How was this one over here? Yeah. Not a roundabout, a turbine, I'm sorry. I don't like that this big hill is in the center of our city, although this... the way these are set up would actually be nice for nature reserves, because you can walk across the top. Just put the paths there and plop like the camping and things on the sides. Yeah, but I mean, come on, this is basically going to be the main drag going through our central city. So we're going to want to hook this up. And the idea is that this will be kind of outside rail stations connecting basically the outside to the center. Oh my god, now that I look at it, we've built up just like one, not even one full chunk. This chunk, so to speak, of... Yeah, this is the shipyard, and this is just going to be... Okay, so I know where we're going to expand residential now. We're going to expand residential just up towards here. Maybe put some more commercial up here, because this is going to be relatively close to the city center. Just basically like probably along here, mostly commercial. Maybe here along the sides some offices. Or maybe maybe we'll start going with off... Exactly. When this hits the city center, which is actually here... Yeah, from here on, we're going to start with commercial then. This is our next commercial area. So we're going to start expanding into the city center next. Well, not next, but we at least have an idea of how we're going to do it. Because this highway is already shooting up to here. We'll probably curve this around to come up to like here. And we'll put that one then going on this side of the mountain. And then there'll be another one coming from here, going through these two mountains, and eventually for the forestry area, exactly. Oh, yeah, exactly. We'll put one here and one here. That'll basically be our highway artery set. And of course, there's going to be numerous secondary highways going through that. The question is, if that's going to be our main highway set, we may, in the long term, want to just really expand that into... Well, you know what? What we'll do here in the city center, here we'll actually create super highways. We'll just assume that there's going to be so much traffic coming on. For example, we'll split up, we'll go up 4 lanes here. When this one comes on, we'll take this off as its own completely separate slip road. And then we'll go up to 5 lanes. And only then will we go back down to 4. And we'll actually stay with 4, going the entire way through the main city. And basically do the same thing then over here on this side. We'll just assume that the idea is that these outside roads, this one in particular, because this doesn't actually lead to anything, but we're going to just have to assume that all the traffic coming from here, from here, from here, and from here is just basically as soon as it hits one of these nodes, immediately going to become super intense. There's going to be a node here. That one's not actually going to be necessarily one that's meant, but here, for example, and then of course here. Oh, that means that this may actually become a 4-lane highway with basically 4 lanes going in. That's okay. That's also something we can reasonably still do. So. Which won't cause us to... Because what we don't want to do is go so far that we need like 8-lane mega highways going through here. Because the 5-lane highway is a little bit wider than this. But not too stupidly. And the 6-lane also isn't that bad. I'll just convert one section so you can see it. That's the 6-lane. And that's the 5-lane. So they are still a little bit wider than the 4-lane, which is only minimally wider than the 3-lane, interestingly enough. Oh, that's actually a 3-lane, that's right. So here we'll actually put in a 4-lane. But we don't want to have these as our main highways going through. That's just too much. Although we may, at some spots, we may, for example, flare up to 6 to give them like 1 lane left and 1 lane right turning off, or 1 lane turning around and 1 lane turning off, or whatever the situation actually requires. But we do actually want to go so far then as to have 4 lanes be the main highways going through. So, okay. I mean, again, we hit 120k again. Yoo-hoo! We're finally getting somewhere again. So now that we've slowly but surely worked out the main artery path, or paths, I should say, we have 22 million. We're making 20,000 a week, so any infrastructure we put in is not going to bankrupt us. That is never going to be a problem. This is still just... I don't know. There goes the chat. We do have to keep paying attention to that a little bit. Although we're really close to the end anyway. Nah, I'm not gonna do that right now. We're gonna do it as it's necessary. But I will. Oh, that's gonna be a bit ugly jumping over there. Oh, this is. Oh, that's right. That means that this actually also may eventually need to become a 4-lane highway all the way going through here. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Do we really want to do 500,000? Can we only, like, stop at 10,000? No, I think it's a little bit late for that. So, but what we can do, just to fill in some more space and add some more jobs. Yeah, we'll use that one. Oh, that's right. That's actually going to be industrial. The question is, yeah, it'll basically be an... Oh, that's right. We need to start thinking of how we want to lay out the shipyards as well. Well, we don't have to... Well, we don't necessarily have to think about that, but we have to think about how much space we're going to want to have to leave open for it, because a lot of that is probably going to be like cranes and docks and things like that, which I'm afraid might be dead assets. I'll have to take a closer look on the Steam Workshop when, well, between this episode and whenever we do it. But again, at least we know where we're going to expand residential to. And back in here, we may actually allow the super high rises, so to speak, for residential. I think overall the skyline in this general part of the city we want to keep low. This is really, we want us to keep these at, yeah, at the height they are. This looks reasonable. This, am I seeing crime and trash and, yeah, but not in a huge amount. Oh, wonderful. And the not enough our not enough goods complaint, not enough customers complaints, thanks to this commercial zone, have been replaced with, oh, they were replaced with not enough workers. Well, then again, it's only 9, so it's not a huge issue. Won't kill us. And we may still be able to expand a little. Oh, wait a sec, this is residential, that's right. Oh, that's right, because not enough workers was the main issue we were after. Ay. Something like Bing, that's always good. Oh, wait a sec, do they have post office while we're at it? They have reasonably good post office connections, yeah. I mean, they have one here. The sorting facility's right over there. There's still room for jobs. What's our unemployment look like? 1%. So, yeah. The main issue we have is still actually residential. That's actually a bit surprising that we wound up putting residential back in there. Just snuggled between those two industry areas, just in the let's see what the pollution is like. Is that... Oh yeah, that's just fine. That's just fine. It looks a bit weird when you look out the window on either side, but other than that, noise pollution also not a major issue. It's a little bit louder than in other places, but not so much that anybody's gonna go screaming bloody murder. Also over here it's just fine. What is home of the stuff store? Is that not in the district? Did we really somehow manage to... You're kidding me, right? Did you mean because of that? It decided that that doesn't belong to the district? Yeah, no. Goodbye. Okay, so now that we're done theorizing about what to do tomorrow, or next episode I should say, because that may or may not be tomorrow for you, those of you watching on Twitch. Yeah, I think we're going to leave it at that for today. And so, once again, signing off from Liftstrom. You guys have been great. I've been Zerb, and see you next time. Cheers.